So my wife Liz and I have been married for 7 years. We have preschool-age kids, and because we currently live in the same city as my parents, my mom would take the kids while my wife and I work. Liz has a much larger income. She got an even better job opportunity that requires us to move to another city. I agreed since I could easily find a job in my field in the city we're moving to. But after my family heard we were selling the house to move, it all broke loose. Sunday, Mom and Liz got into a huge fight because Liz told Mom we'd move away and hire a babysitter for the kids, so she's no longer needed. Mom said she doesn't want her grandkids moving away, and even said we should let the kids live at her house while we move. Liz laughed at her, and Mom lost it, basically saying that Liz was an ungrateful witch and that her grandkids moving would only happen over her dead body. They began exchanging harsher words, and Liz snapped and told Mom to butt out of private matters that didn't concern her, and said that she had no right to decide things regarding the kids. Mom firmly told her she was dead wrong and proceeded to tell her that she, as an involved grandmother, knows her rights, and she'll be taking Liz and me to court to ensure she still gets to see her grandkids. Liz was in shock. She looked to the left and saw me sitting there, not saying or doing anything. She told me to check my mom, but I told her she was being unfair to Mom and that Mom had a right to feel upset because she would no longer see her grandchildren. I honestly told Liz that she was a bit selfish not to consider my mom's feelings and her crucial presence in the kid's life first. Liz started arguing with me, saying she couldn't believe I didn't stand behind her and defend her after hearing my mom saying she'd get the court involved. I said Mom was upset and could not be blamed for her reaction. Liz started yelling at me, calling me unsupportive and an enabler, then went home with the kids, insisting my family is my problem and I should handle it, although this whole moving thing was her idea. The situation hasn't been resolved, and Liz and Mom are getting more intense in their fights. I choose to stay out of it because both have valid arguments, but Liz has called me awful for not siding with her after seeing how Mom spoke to her and being okay with the fact that Mom was willing to cause us issues in court. Am I the idiot? I get that Liz wants my support, but I feel like my mom has been punished through no fault of her own after being a loving grandmother to my kids. You are the idiot. Your mom threatened to take your family to court to get custody of the kids. She wants them to live with her. This is a disproportionate reaction to being told that someone is moving. Are you okay with moving to a new city? It sounds like you are. Why would you ever let anyone threaten your wife with the court for doing something incredibly beneficial for your family? Why would you let someone threaten you instead of offering to get on a plane to see you? Your mom is threatening your family, and she could very well actually gain custody of the kids, depending on how much and how long she takes care of them. OMG, you are the idiot, OP. Your wife and children should be your first priority, always, not your mother's feelings about moving. You're a weak man, OP, and it's likely your wife is considering if you're the kind of man she wants to be with. A parent, especially a father's, number one job is to protect his family. Your family's being threatened, your wife is being attacked, and you're standing idly by as if this is some TV drama and you're just a spectator. It's one thing to understand why your mother's upset. I can sympathize with your mother here. She loves her grandkids, and she said she's not going to see them every day. But that doesn't give her the right to threaten your family and attempt to steal your children. Grow some balls and stand up to your mother. Well, if OP continues on the course he's taking, he can share his visitation time with his mother. OP, get your mother out of your marriage, or you won't have a marriage. If you had an issue with moving, you should have had that conversation with your wife, agreeing with it to your wife's face, and then letting your mom do the dirty work of fighting her about it is cowardly and passive-aggressive. The fact that you sat there like a bump on the log while your relatives harass your wife is failing hardcore as a spouse. I, 42 female, met my husband, 44, 6 years ago, and we've been married for 2 years. He has a daughter, pre-tween, from a previous marriage that ended badly after his ex cheated on him. His daughter rarely ever sees her mom, as she constantly travels the world. I feel awful that his daughter hasn't had a good mother figure in her life, so I've been trying my best to take her out to do girly things and bond with her since her mother isn't around to do so. She's always called me by my first name, but for the first time, when we were sitting at the dinner table, she called me Mom, and it just didn't feel right and it made me uncomfortable. I told her that, "I'm sorry, but I'm not your mother. You can't call me that, sweetie." And she was shocked and started to tear up a bit. My husband and I were arguing all night, telling me that what I did was awful. He told me that she feels comfortable and close enough to call me Mom, and that I should feel special for her calling me Mom. He doesn't want to see how I feel from my side. Her mother is still very much alive, and I don't want to disrespect her by taking her title as a mom. It all feels very awkward, as I'm used to her calling me by my name. Life was moving so smoothly until she had to call me Mom. So am I the idiot for not wanting to be called Mom? You are the idiot for crushing a little girl in a vulnerable moment. She probably had to work up the courage to do it, fearing your rejection, and you made her worst fears come true. Her bio mom is absent and doesn't deserve the title, though I don't think you do either. I cannot imagine how this little girl felt with that, and I really hope that the relationship between OP and that girl can still continue to grow past being told that she wasn't actually her mom, despite being there for her since she was 1. I'm blown away. OP is not the idiot. If she doesn't want to be called Mom, then that's the only thing that matters. Geez, if it was the other way around and OP wanted to be called Mom, but the kid refused, the tone shift would be immense. OP, your response is right that she has a mother, and you're not wanting to replace her. I mean, yeah, it rightfully would get a different judgment because that would be a grown adult pressuring a child they have power over to treat them as a parent. This, however, is a grown adult who married a man with a young child and has been raising said child with him for 2 years, deciding to break that child's heart by refusing the title of mom. This girl is young, and OP has been in their lives since she was 1 and has been her stepmom since she was 5. Don't marry someone with kids if you're not willing to parent those kids. I see both sides here. My recommendation is that she calls her mother Mom, and you two come up with a new name for her to call you. Maybe it's Mimi or Mama or something similar, but she needs to call you something, and she wants you to be one of her parents. That's huge and really special, and I hope you realize how uncommon it is with step relationships. Heck, you, she, and her dad can have a family meeting to decide your new name. Make it a celebration. Get dressed up. Go for dessert at a fancy restaurant and toast your new family. My mom and my wife have never had a great relationship. My mom has some issues, and my wife has zero patience. I'm not even talking about typical controlling mother-in-law stuff, but more like personal issues. My mom is extremely weird about certain things, such as eating, touching people/things, and controlling what she wears/her body. She isn't great with social norms, and to be honest, people do coddle her. However, my grandparents are just burnt out from raising her and don't even care at this point, and her husband is happy as long as she's eating enough and doesn't care how bizarrely she behaves. I don't believe in coddling her, but my wife is sometimes controlling. I believe in giving my mom 2 choices. She can leave or opt out. For example, if she wouldn't wear the color my wife picked out for our wedding, she just couldn't be in the pictures. She can leave the room if she's being rude or refuses to eat. However, I don't see the point in fighting with her. You're never going to win. We recently had a christening for our son, and my mom showed up in a strapless dress, which is not allowed in my wife's family's church. My mom never went to a church and didn't think that that was still a rule. To be clear, this wasn't some clubbing dress, and it would have been fine if her shoulders were covered. My wife told her she couldn't go in like that and offered her mother-in-law a sweater. My mom refused it as it didn't match her dress and she didn't like it. She looked around for something else to wear and then offered to go home and join us for the party later. I thought that was fine, but my wife got mad and said she was being selfish and acting like an idiot and demanded she put it on. My mom said no and started whining. My wife accused her of not loving her son and grandson, which became a power struggle. People, not my mom, started yelling at my wife. It was awful. I told my wife to leave her alone and said my mom could put it on or leave, but leaving was a valid option. My wife just gave me a death stare. Finally, my mom said she would leave and thanked me for being reasonable, which I see was a dig on her part. Eventually, my dad gave her a suit jacket, and I thought everything was fine. But my wife was furious after the fact and said I sided with my mom and let her ruin our son's christening. She said I was a coward and should have demanded she put that sweater on, and it's ridiculous that she cared more about the sweater than her family. She said that I undermined and embarrassed her in front of everyone, and my mom deserved to be yelled at. So, am I the idiot? I always try to side with my wife, at least in public, but failed to do that as I felt my mom was in the right. Your mom is an adult, not a child, who's still learning how to behave in social situations. She needs to accept that social norms are in place and shouldn't expect to be catered to. Sometimes adults must do things that make them uncomfortable. Nobody likes wearing church clothes or the prescribed outfit deemed by the bride at a wedding, but it's what you do. You are the idiot for being a flying monkey. Stop enabling your mom's admittedly lousy behavior. Your wife takes priority over your mom, and even if you disagree with her, actively choosing your mom's crazy over her, time and time again, it sounds like, is hurtful. Your wife is mad because your mom says she cares more about not wearing a sweater than she does for a major milestone in her grandchild's life. She often makes that decision. Her comfort is 100% valued. The feelings and expectations of others don't matter, and you're good with that because it's all you know. I can't call your wife an idiot for having to watch this woman embrace her id at all times while others make themselves uncomfortable for her. So it's literally just the visibility of the shoulders that's prohibited, but there are tons of strapless wedding dresses. Exposed shoulders is certainly not forbidden as a rule in any church I've ever been to. It's a stupid rule your wife invented, and it makes sense that mother-in-law wouldn't know about it. Not the idiot OP. And for the christening, if the church in fact required a specific kind of dress code, then your mother should have been made aware of that in advance. My son Noah, 24, is getting married to his fiancée, Abby, 25, next month. It's safe to say that Abby and I have been on pretty good terms in the past, except for recently. Since Abby and Noah barely have any money to make ends meet, Abby had no chance to get a decent wedding dress. I decided to gift mine as a symbol of love and appreciation. She was happy with it since she likes traditional dresses, and I was happy that she embraced it. Just some days ago, I found out that Abby had altered and made drastic changes to my wedding dress behind my back. I saw the before and after pictures she sent me, and I couldn't help but feel deceived and disrespected. I got on the phone with her and told her she had no permission to alter any part of my wedding dress whatsoever. She acted confused and told me she thought it was a gift, which it was, yes. However, I didn't want her to alter it to the point where I no longer recognized the dress anymore. She explained that she needed to make these changes to fit her image of her dream wedding dress that she couldn't afford to get. I let her know that this dress had memories attached to it, and she just erased all of that with her irresponsibility and irrationality. I also let her know that I wouldn't be coming to the wedding if she thought it was okay to disrespect me. She started then. She had Noah come over and start an argument with me about how I unjustifiably shamed Abby and made her feel guilty for wanting her wedding dress to look like she imagined it to be. I told him she should have checked with me first, but he said she didn't have to because the dress had become hers once I gifted it to her, and I lost all say in it. I asked if he'd be happy if he gifted someone a valuable item and then saw them destroy it, which is what Abby did. He said it was awful of me to say I won't come to the wedding because of this. I said that I couldn't help but feel disrespected. Why should I attend the wedding when his future wife doesn't respect me? He got his dad to back him up, and they both called me the irrational and disrespectful one. I just couldn't handle the stress of arguing and had Noah leave the house. He texted later saying that if I miss his wedding, he won't look at me the same anymore. My husband said it's not worth it. Noah's our only son, and not attending his wedding will be devastating. He said I was overreacting and should look at the bright side, which is the fact that Abby embraced the dress when young women her age wouldn't normally do that. But I don't know. It just feels disrespectful and unacceptable. Am I wrong here? You are threefold in the wrong for A, giving a gift with conditions, B, not making those conditions clear to the giftee, and C, threatening not to go to your son's wedding because of it. I have 3 words for you. Life's too short, because holy wow, what a dumb hill to die on. I agree deeply, and I also wonder if OP was assuming she would get the dress back after the wedding. Like, where the heck was this communication breakdown? Did OP say gift but mean loan and tell absolutely no one what she thought? Because what the heck? How can that be on son and fiance if OP wasn't clear? Yeah, OP, you're not thinking clearly. When you came at this girl, she wasn't acting confused. She genuinely was confused. She didn't send your son over with instructions to confront you. She was probably distraught and told him what had happened. And he was like, whoa, I'll go and try to talk to her. You are the idiot by far. So bad that it's clouding your judgment. Basically, you're saying that the dress has more sentimental value to you than your son. I'm a flight attendant for a major airline, so working on holidays is a given. I've been working long enough I could get holidays and time off if I want, but I don't take them up on it. For the past decade, I've skipped major family holidays and events like weddings and christenings. Part of it has to do with something that happened a long time ago. Long story short, my ex impregnated my sister and they got married. I have no interest in them and haven't met their children. I haven't even gone back to my hometown since their engagement announcement. My mother's been asking me when I'm going to come back, and the answer is never. So I tell her I don't know. Well, she and my dad are getting up there in years, and they want a family celebration with everyone, including my cheat of an ex and his family. She just asked when I was going to be here for Thanksgiving, and I told her that work had gotten in the way. She broke down crying over the phone and pleaded with me to put in a time off request so I could see her. My other flight attendant family thinks I should do this one thing, and because it's not healthy to put work over family. Honestly, I can't stand to see my ex happy with his affair partner and what could have been us. Also, I'm spending part of the holidays in Bali and have better things to do than be miserable in my hometown. Am I the idiot? Edit. My parents were disgusted with my sister at first, refused to attend the wedding. Their stance changed after my sister's kid was born. My mom always wanted to be a grandmother, but out of her 4 kids, only 1 had kids. I may have kids in the future, but my mom won't be in their lives. I don't know. I miss her, but I hate everyone in that lot. Not the idiot for wanting to avoid playing fake happy family with your sister over a holiday, but you are the idiot if you refuse to spend time with your parents solo. If they're willing to respect your boundaries, you need to start thinking about how you can support them as they age. You never discussed this with your mother? Then she would know exactly why you haven't come home for 10 years. It seems the mom has chosen OP's sister and continued to accept that her daughter destroyed a relationship with her other daughter's partner at the time. You can't accept something like that and expect the hurt party to be all sunshine and rainbows about it, or to want to be around the couple. Please don't go back. Your family sucks for supporting the cheaters instead of you. It's your parents' fault you're not there. Your sister and ex hurt you, and your family still chose them. Enjoy and live your life to the fullest. I wish you all the love and health. Hey, I don't blame you for taking care of yourself. And as we grow in years, that's the most important thing. I feel your parents know, and they'd probably lie about your sister and ex to get you there. However, you do need to take breaks. Burnout sucks, and it can creep up on you. Take a vacation for yourself, self-love, so to speak. An option if they really want to see you is they come to you.